Welcome to the Insiders, 12th of April. How are you, Matt?
Yeah, good. It's not to be a bummer, but it's a miserable day in England. It's like a million mile an hour wind, grey and rainy. But I'm here talking to you, so I can't complain. How are you?
Well, yeah, not bad. We might be 999k a mile hour winds.
Yeah.
So it's not that much better. I had a cracker of a morning. You know when you sleep in and you wish you didn't?
Yeah.
Forecasting, it's got us all round its little fingers around the world. Like we're all checking,
Yeah.
obviously. And I've been eyeing it, and we knew there was a massive storm coming, and I just thought it was going to come early, and then yesterday I was like, might come, might not, and I woke up, looked at the webcams, and it looked good, and I was like, what have I done? Because like by then, Wind Guru was saying 11 o'clock incoming. And at the same time I was checking it, Fipsy calls me and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, I'm looking at the webcam, man. Like, I think I might like go south. And he's like, he was on the beach with his dog walking, and he goes, "It's looking good here. Well, it's looking doable here." He was looking for someone to enjoy some of the punishment with him because it was
Yeah.
it was pretty solid. And north of Hossegor, as you go north, here it kind of gets bigger and
Yeah.
further out. And I said, "Well, what do you think?" "All right, then I'll do it." And then and he rings me back and he goes, "No, I've just seen a bigger set. We'll probably get hammered." And I go, "Okay, so we don't do it." And he goes, and then I rang him and I said, "No, I'm coming." And he goes, "All right." And I said, "Look, I'll go past Hossegor on the way and check." So I go past Hossegor, I check out Lenore and stuff, and I see this like beautiful set. And a friend of mine was there checking, and he had his wetsuit over his shoulder. Like he was there checking. And I said, "Well, man, I'm out there. We don't have a whole lot of time." And while we did that, I saw this guy I know who's like a surf coach with a bunch of groms. They were just getting changed to go out. And I rang Fipsy. I said, "It's good, I think, huh? We don't, if you want." And he's like, "I'm on my way." And I've I've got changed as then I've started running down the beach, and I walked past Pierre, this coach filmer, and it was really soft light onshore. I was going, "Yeah, it's onshore." And we go, "Yeah, we could be right." I got out the back. I got out the back,
Yeah.
and I was trying to sit because it was high tide. It's a low tide spot, but it was still breaking. It was a small high tide, and I missed this set, which was clean because it's hard enough to get in the right position to start with. And then after that set gone, it started blowing on my face, and I got one wave and had to come in. Like I got one wave and I come in because I knew I could tell it was getting stronger. By the time I got to the car, like I didn't even get changed there. I drove down the road to the cafe where I've got an outside shower in the backyard of the house. And it was just blowing and raining. It was like, it was a one hit wonder.
One hit wonder. Worth it
You've
though.
had that, haven't you? That's the
Ah,
classic, isn't it?
we had this so where we are here, high tide surf's a nightmare because we're on stones, so it will just throw you up the stones. And Silent Jack, who I always go surf with, he loves a high tide, like he loves pushing it at high. And the other week he convinced me to paddle out with him, and it was windy and it was like quite big for here, but messed up and long paddle out, like 15-minute paddle, like straight paddling, duck diving, duck diving, duck diving. And I caught, paddled out, sat there, and the perfect wave came to me straight away. And I caught it and I rode it all the way in, kicked out just before it threw me up the stones, turned around and just saw it getting messier and messier and higher and just got out. got changed and sat in the car, and he was out for like another 45 minutes. And I was like, I caught one good one, but I wasn't. And yeah, so we've all had the one hit wonders.
By the time Fifty got from Bourdain to Hossegor, it's like, not even 5 minutes in a car.
Yeah,
He said he got there. He saw me. He must have saw me that miss that set, and then he saw it hell blowing. And the other guy who had his wetsuit on his shoulder, he had a shortboard because I think he was going to try and surf La Gravier.
yeah.
And he's like, oh, he went home to get his gun, and I said to him, well, look, if by the time you get back anyway, the wind's up, it's not like you would have missed it because it was only 10 minutes.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? And he
exactly.
got to the. Lucy told me he got to the shore break, walked down the beach with the board, got to the shore, he turned around, didn't get wet, walked back to the car.
That's it.
One hit wonders. One hit wonders. So what did you think of Bells?
Yeah, Bells was an interesting one because, so for me, like, if we start with like how the waves were, day one when I saw it was quite windy and like messy and stuff. I was quite interested to see how like the world's best deal with not perfect conditions. But then when you had 3 or 4 days of that in a row, I didn't think it was as good.
No, we definitely got to see how the world's best deal with not perfect conditions.
Yeah. Uh,
How did you how do you weigh in? Because we didn't speak about this. I was going to send you a message and I just wanted your unadulterated opinion. How did you see some of the what's the word? Polemic, um, controversy, judging controversies, or judging discrepancies, or just judging interpretations. How did you see it?
yeah, I think I didn't really see it, if I'm honest. I thought it was a little bit. I think there's been way worse controversies and way worse scoring decisions that no one's ever mentioned. I think maybe it was a little bit highlighted with the fact that the waves weren't perfect and things like that. But and I think a lot of people were making mistakes and maybe it was a bit frustrating. But I don't know. What did you think? I didn't think it was as bad as kind of what it got made out to be.
Did you think the winning surfer won?
Um, I think I would say yeah. I like again. I don't think Ethan was a standout. But I don't think anybody was. Like, if anything, I thought Arkell was probably the standout.
He was, I thought too. I'm
Um,
wondering, not even wondering, it's not maybe not the way to say it. Like, how does a guy so tall
yeah.
be so flexible?
And do you know what it was for me? So one of my like no, my favorite surf film of all time is Cluster, and Ryan Callanan, the way he surfs in that because it's old,
Great film. Great film.
is
I
so.
bought it.
So have I. Yeah, I because
Yeah.
you can't illegally find it anywhere. I bought it, and yeah, I love Kai Neville, but it was almost like his surfing was a bit like in that, where he was doing the kind of almost like throwaway airs that he was then landing. And yeah, I thought Arkell was probably the standout, and I was actually buzzing to see him make the final. Um, mm,
I turned it on and saw it was the women's final. It was early-ish here, not super early. And I saw straight away that Ethan won.
yeah,
Then I think I saw in the comments section on Beach Grit or something about I read somewhere about Toledo complaining, and I didn't watch the rest of the heat. I just looked at Ethan's winning wave, the 843,
yeah,
and I thought that it was cooked. And I thought, fuck, the wrong surfer won
mm,
that heat just because of just seeing the 843. But then I went back and rewatched all both their two high scoring waves on heat analyzer. I
Yeah,
definitely thought Ethan won. I know I'm an Ethan fan, but I wouldn't say that because I'm a Felipe fan as well.
yeah,
I think he rips, but and then I saw this friend of mine. He came in for lunch with his wife, Alan Ryu. Like it's just not just a normal dude. He was like contest director of Quickie Pro a few times.
yeah.
Long time Quicksilver pro surfer from Tahiti. He's a white Tahitian, like his parents were school teachers. And he said he turned on the semis. I said, "What do you think?" He's like he didn't even think there was like any discrepancy. He
No,
said he just thinks that what his view is that the judging criteria has now switched away from inside scrappy waves to better surfing on the better wave.
that's what I was going to say. I think Felipe for a few years has surfed up his waves, so he takes off on a wave that is a 6, absolutely goes mad on it and gets an 8. But and then someone takes off on an 8 and surfs it to the best of their ability and the best of the waves ability and gets an 8. I think the judges now have kind of put more emphasis on make sure you're on the better waves. And I think Ethan was.
I also think that like should they be giving a point extra for someone that's gone right down to the inside to an ankle high wave and done an air reverse on that ankle high? And I don't think so.
Just looks desperate.
Doesn't it? That's
Yeah.
what I saw when I watched the heat analyze. It looked that, which okay if you need a 4, but if you're
Yeah.
trying to win the semi of a CT,
Yeah.
like no, okay if you're looking for a 4 in a qualifying series to qualify for the Challenger Series.
Yeah. And
But anyway, that's what I thought too.
I actually thought that Felipe's quarterfinal against Jackson Baker was a little bit closer than the judging.
I thought that, and I don't know if it was a nine, but I thought that was easily the best wave of that heat, that wave of Jacko. That
Yeah.
last Rio he does in the pocket, because he's coming from behind the section,
Yeah.
right? But I'm turning, getting up into the part where it was pitching.
Mm,
Uh, and that Rio re-entry he does, closeout re-entry, was insane, I thought.
same. And I usually don't
And
like those.
very acrobatic.
Yeah. And so because I watched the Jackson Baker hit and was like, I think Jacko won it. Like,
There you go.
and then, the next heat Felipe serves in, it was close, but I still don't think there was any issue with the scores. And yet he's going mad. And I'm like, well, you're lucky you made it through one round. So
He seems to be going mad a lot in the last year and a half, and he's world champ.
yeah, he just
The
needs
year
to,
before he was second. I
yeah.
don't know why he's got that extra grief.
Mm, I think it's, I think
I
it's,
mean,
I think it's funny.
winning
Like
events.
I
I
watched
don't
the,
think the judge. Sorry, I don't think the judges are against him. Are they?
no, it's funny when you watch Make or Break and you saw Italo go mad and accuse the judges of being biased in Australia, and then yet when the event goes to Brazil, I think it's been a Brazilian winner for the last 6 years since John last won it. Felipe's won it like 4 out of the last 5 times or something crazy, and Brazilians seem to do better in Brazil. No one's accusing the judges of being biased. People were just saying, well, they're used to that wave. And that's the same as Australians in Australia. Like the reason why it's around the world is because it's like a home and away game in a different sport, isn't it? So
When was the last time you saw our holy saviour, John, do a sookie after losing heat?
yeah.
Can you remember him blowing
I
up?
I'd say the last time John kind of blew up was when Zeke paddled on top of him at Bells.
And did he blow up even?
Not really. He just basically was like, I wouldn't surf like that. It is what it is.
Yeah, oh yeah, he he commented about it.
Yeah, yeah.
I
But
wonder if he was not the standout of the event, really, for me.
I thought he looked good.
I
I
thought he was
think
kind of, he's added a little bit of, he looked, and I think that was the waves as well. He looked a little bit less fluid than what he can look when the waves are
mm,
better. But I think he just looks like he's just trying to jam it all the time,
he looks like
which is
he's going.
good.
Yeah. So I wanted to call out like so there was a wave round two. Callum Robson had the chance to make it the heat, and he safety surfed this wave terribly, and the judges crucified him for it. Didn't give him the score. And I think John, the best thing about John, and I thought the same with Arkau, was they were. It was almost like they were pedaled to the floor on every wave, which I really liked.
Yeah, well, there you go. And Arkel's now safe. He's like,
Yeah, huge result.
he's not far from the top five. How good would that be to see
Yeah.
someone like him in the top five?
Well, that's the great thing about this year is it's kind of like no one's running away with it, and everyone's still like someone could win two events and they're world number one. Like,
And that maybe, and is it Toledo's in the yellow jersey, isn't he?
I think Zhao Chenka is.
Or maybe, yeah. But he seemed like it's crazy how one event can take the shine off you.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he surfed good, but now we're not all thinking JO's going to run away with anything.
Or Jack Robinson because he lost third round 32.
Yeah, and maybe a slight tweak of the knee.
Yeah.
I never thought Jack was going to win bells, and even less in conditions like that.
Yeah. I didn't think he was going to win, but I didn't see him lose in third round.
No, no. But if he had have made that layback, he probably would have got through, wouldn't he?
I think so. I think I would agree with that if he'd have made it, if he comes out of it. Um, I do want to comment like before I forget about it, and I'll message you about it. How sick is it? How sick was Ethan Ewing's speech and stuff? Like it was
I
pretty
didn't see.
cool.
I didn't watch that because I didn't want to get. I'll watch it later on. I didn't want to get wrapped up in those sort of emotional things while I was thinking, because I can feel the emotion that
Yeah,
like would send you anyway.
yeah,
His mum won bells. How unreal
yeah.
is that?
That's what it's about. 40 years since his mum won it, and he talks about how on the steps every year he was walking past her name because they have the winners on the steps and stuff, and how he had the trophy next to his bed while he was growing up. Um,
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty like, and the way like it made me love him even more. Like he's sick.
And somewhere, everyone really in the surfing world wanted John to be a world champ, because when you see surfing, and when
Yeah,
we saw John grow up into surfing, well, you didn't see him grow up. I watched him grow up, and that's what you want to see as the benchmark for your sport. And I think Ethan's the same thing, and
yeah.
Tom Curren was the same thing, and
Oh,
Occy was the same thing, and Tom Carroll was the same thing, and then Kelly Slater was, and then Fanning was, and Joel Parker. It's people that, like, if you when you imagine how you want to surf yourself,
yeah,
think, geez, I wished I looked like that on the wave instead of flailing arms
yeah.
and knees wrong and hitting it at the wrong time. That's what we want to see.
How completely agree. How sick is Tom Curren's style? Like,
Oh, it's crazy, isn't it? It's unreal.
oh boy, like he stands so still and
It's a pity that they didn't get good waves, because look,
mm,
Occy was, and he rightfully won. And how good was he surfing? How good would
yeah,
it have been to watch him in good waves?
yeah. So I was just like being a natural foot and not watching. I've watched quite a bit of his surfing, but not watched loads of Tom Curren. But seeing him in bad waves or in messy waves be so silky, like it was so sick. And I just was mesmerized about how little he pumps his board, but yet how much speed he carries.
I wonder if we could get some brands to back us and have like a non-WSL sanctioned, or we'll get them to sanction us,
Legends
like
event.
like a Legends Heat out somewhere on one of the best French banks in
Yeah.
October. Perfect waves.
Get get Fipsy,
Do you
get
think that would
Betty.
be nah? Well, Fipsy, God bless his heart, but I'm talking like Occy, Tom Carroll, um, who
Yeah,
else?
Kong.
Even a little bit younger, like just like Taylor Knox,
What about if you got like, yeah, or like
Arco,
Parko, Mick, Taj, Josh Kerr.
Taj, yes,
Yeah,
Style Masters.
yeah. Bede, Durbridge. I used to love watching him surf.
He doesn't have the honor of having an R in his name, Matt. Unfortunately,
Oh
it's
yeah, true.
Durbridge, and without forgetting the ladies, even though I thought it was less what's the word? Well, there was less drama around it because
Yeah,
I thought Molly maybe got slightly pushed on a couple. I thought she was serving okay, but not as good as what I thought. And I think Tyler like really surfed really good. I read somewhere someone saying, and it's obvious that she's not just using her layback anymore. She's gone back to all the different moves and
yeah.
carves.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. I thought Tyler was pretty much the standout woman. After early rounds, Steph looked really good. Sally looked really good. But I thought Tyler the whole way through kind of looked the strongest. I thought it was quite cool. Like, I feel like she might have been pretty determined to win it for Owen because it was his last event.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I felt like I kind of agree with the women. Is it almost just went all to script, so it didn't
I
really
saw
feel.
I
Yeah,
saw a wave of Steph's in the semi. It was hard to watch, not because of Steph, because it was just knee high, and I was
yeah,
thinking, it's just such a hard sport, isn't it? They'll never be able to like they pick the eyes out of it. It's the 10 days at the prime season of a prime spot,
yeah.
and you
Don't you
still
think?
can't score.
I kind of wanted to touch on Steph a little bit about that with you about last year and now this year. Is she basically needed a semi this event to then put her in a good position for Marks to make the cut, which she's done. And then the back half of the year, when you look at it, like
Down
forget
her alley,
forget
isn't
about
it?
the pool, but you've got J Bay, she should win. El Salvador, she should win.
Or not should.
J Bay, she should win.
Yes, J-Bay, she should win.
But still, yeah. So you look at the back half of the year and you're kind of like, she's going to get in the top five again.
Easy.
And and it's funny how people pick on like Felipe and other people who have bad big wave kind of prowess, but almost like Steph's had two shockers in a row in Hawaii. Like first year, obviously COVID, and then done bad at Sunset. This year, lost first round in pipe, didn't do well at Sunset, and she's almost like she's kind of making a mockery of how it all sets up, like that she could basically qualify just on her Australia competitions, cook the back half of the tour, and then win trestles from fifth. Like,
She transcends the sport.
mm,
At one stage, Tracks Surfing Magazine, Matt, was the Bible of surf magazines.
yeah,
And they had the Tracks Surfer of the Year,
mm,
and Tom Carroll won it like I think it was 10 years in a row
yeah,
because he was so powerful and so good in waves like pipe and everything that every guy in the world just wanted to be him.
yeah,
And every guy and girl in the world that watches Steph Gilmore surf, it's kind of like Ethan, is they want to surf like that.
definitely, yeah.
It's kind of hard to criticize her, isn't it? Even though you'd never put $100 on her to win at Fiji or Chopu.
No, exactly, yeah.
She doesn't seem to care.
No. I'll tell you what, I did have a little bet on this event. Um, I was feeling a bit spontaneous, and um I put a fiver on Arcal at 65 to 1
To win.
to win.
Oh,
I know. And I put
you can't bet each way. You can't
no,
get first or second,
annoyingly
only to
not.
win.
I done John
Could have been a
John.
nearly a new surfboard for you there.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I done John John five. John, like the odds on John were like 9 to 1, which is crazy. And then Arcal was 65 to 1. And then I done
Who are you betting on? Like, what is it?
um
You've told me this before.
yeah, so it's called Paddy Power.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna look because I've tried a couple of times on that bet online thing, and it doesn't accept our region. And
No,
I don't
it's
want to bet. I'm scared of betting. I'm
Paddy
scared of betting.
Paddy Power is a bit hard because you basically can only pick your winner for the outright event. You can't do like heat by heat, which is a bit
I'll never
annoying.
condone betting,
No.
listeners. I just think you should use your money on surf trips, not
Yeah,
betting
I
or
had
drugs or alcohol.
I just had the feeling, and to be fair, I put £20 down and um I lost. But
Well, there you go.
yeah,
You won't be giving me that £20.
no. But yeah, so I thought Bells was good. I thought like usually it's like one of my favorite events, and I felt like it just was missing a little bit this year.
You've
But
got crap surf.
yeah, I I do hope, like I do feel for the WSL a bit that they've just like Pipe was terrible, Sunset wasn't great, Portugal was average. Well, no, Portugal was. I like the conditions in Portugal, and then Bells has been a bit rubbishy. I kind of really hope they get absolutely pumping Margaret River.
Hey, can you remember a shithouse Margaret's?
No,
Like people complain about main break and everything, and I've just read a few forecast tips that it's going to be cooking.
sweet John for the win. I might get
There's
put a
just
bet on.
so much swell there. There's just so much swell there. John, yeah, John. What, John? You wouldn't bet on anyone else, would you?
Not really. Not if it's pumping.
Potentially, like you put 50 on John, 5 on Jack, 5 on Ethan.
Pretty much, yeah. You'd kind of try and cover your bets with a couple, but yeah, there's
Which,
if it's pumping, other than those three, no one else is winning.
okay, so that's going to lead into what I meant to say before about Bells. Is has he disappeared from the conversation, Gabriel Medina?
Like maybe some
What's going on? I watched
someone
his.
asked
He still looks like he's ripping.
someone asked me this, and it kind of applies to Gabby the same as it does Kelly, which is like why, like especially for Kelly, why would he go and surf Bells like that when he could basically go and surf anywhere he wants in the world?
But that doesn't apply to Gabby though, because Gabby's not even 30 yet, and honestly, he's only won 3.
Yeah, but he only ever wanted to win three. That's the
Well, there you
weird
go.
thing.
He should have just retired, didn't he? He's got
Mm,
coin out. But before he looked like he wanted to win so bad he'd eat your grandmother.
true. I was one of the
Shocking waves.
yeah, I was one of the people that thought Gabby, with no pressure on him and no pressure on himself and stuff, could be even better.
He
But
can still win, man. He can still
oh, of
win the world
course,
title this year. So easy, it's not funny.
I think
But
he'll.
at the moment, none of us are talking about him.
I
He hasn't
think
had
he'll
a
win.
result.
I think he'll win the wave pool event, and then it'll kick him off.
I think he'd probably win the wave pool then as well.
Yeah, but it's just some people need that to be like up against the ropes to get their best performance, and I think
Have
that
we seen Ethan at the wave pool?
I think once, I think one
I've
year.
never seen him. I've never seen him on a wave there. Can
No,
you imagine what that forehand wrap looks like out there?
I can imagine how underscored he'll get just because he doesn't do an air.
But maybe not.
Maybe not, but
Maybe not. If like Felipe's incredibly powerful and fast and everything. But what if Ethan just does one where he dismantles it,
yeah,
like without an air? Like it,
arguably it's harder. So he should get scored higher.
you'd think we'll see. We'll see. I'm
We,
so waiting for the wave pool event, even more than J Bay and Chopes.
yeah, you keep talking about it. You keep just bringing up how much you love
I'm looking at
man-made waves.
flights. I'm looking at flights.
Apparently the tickets have halved in price, so to get entry to the pool. So
I read that. I read that, but they were also incredibly expensive to start from, weren't they?
yeah, yeah. I still think whatever you're paying too much.
People don't care. Come on, like they've been once or been twice.
Yeah, would be. Yeah, it's not. I'd rather pay to go to J Bay and watch.
Well,
And yeah,
J Bay's what event?
seventh. So I think it's. Does it go J Bay after the pool and then El Salvador? I think maybe.
And so we've got Margie's. Straight after Margie's, there's Gold Coast. They go into the Challenger Series,
Yeah,
of which is now pretty lame. Finishes in Sakurama.
yeah.
No why, but what's after? What's after Margie's?
The
Straight
pool.
to. Are you sure?
Yeah,
And then is it J Bay? You just said that.
I think so. I think it's either.
That's pretty reckless if they go. That's going around the globe. If then they've got to go back to El Salvador.
Yeah, maybe they go El Salvador then J Bay. It's either way round. Um,
Don't quote us on that, listeners.
I can find out. Let me. Um,
So, how's unemployed life
Tahiti.
going then, Matt? Are we allowed to talk about that?
We could talk about it. I'm not unemployed, but
You're not surfing.
I'm not surfing. No.
When's your next surf trip then?
Um, that's a good question. I'm gonna try and get. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna try and do one to Wales. I went to the wave pool last weekend, which was it was empty, which was amazing. Um, and gonna try and do a trip to Wales and news for UK listeners. Fipsy is coming to England in June to shape. Um, so he'll be in Cornwall. So I'm going to go to Cornwall and meet up with Fipsy and do some cool stuff and surf with Fipsy and stuff. And then hopefully France in maybe the first week of September.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Well, as it's a flash in the pan comp review, I'm going to give you my do's and don'ts.
yeah, cool.
Go to
Um,
bed early
go to,
is my do. Do go to bed early. I've been regretting it for a few weeks now because I was in that rhythm. In
yeah,
my only defense, it's cold and windy early. It's cold here early, and it's not as cold as others. And don't bitch about too many different wave conditions because I did see a message from one of our listeners,
Ryan.
and I do understand. I just want to just quickly, in my only defense, say that I, as good as it is, I still wouldn't highly advise a surf trip to France for people because it's a
It's
nightmare.
tricky.
It
It
looks
is
like it's
tricky.
all this good, but like, I've got friends now. I'm in a more of an open working situation. When you're working here, you can literally rip your hair out because
Yeah,
if it is like 4 to 6 foot and long period swell, there's only one spot to surf
yeah.
at a certain tide. And if that's not on your lunchtime, you're cooked.
It
But either
changes
way,
so quickly.
don't complain about surfing because if you can surf and you've got two arms and two legs, everything's working well.
Yes,
Thank God to the
exactly.
God I don't believe in. Thanks,
Just
science.
just so that people don't eat us, it's the wave pool, then El Salvador, then Rio, then J Bay.
Oh,
then
J-Bar.
chopes.
And then chopes.
Yeah,
Oh, good. Finishing with the premium.
yeah. My quick do's or don'ts. So my do is if you're going to go to the wave pool in Bristol, do go on a weekday and get it empty. Because I went this weekend on Easter Sunday when everyone else was doing stuff with her family and surfed it with only I went with Ryan, who
Easter
complained.
Sunday. Was there
Uh,
any eggs?
There wasn't, but there was me, Ryan, and only four other people in on our two sessions. It was insane. Doubled up, like doubled the amount of waves. It
Does
was
that
sick.
mean you just keep spinning because you got a time period?
Yeah, basically
Whoa.
doubled up, like made it back out for like I think 8 or 9 times. You're cooked after, but it's worth it. Um, and my don't is um about the wave pool again. So if you go to Bristol, don't take too much stuff because it's really bad. But from the car park to the entrance of the wave is like it's over a mile walk, and it's madness. If you take when you walk back to your car, and you've got two wetsuits with your boards and your bag and everything and your towels and stuff, it's a
Well, you shouldn't. I
nightmare.
wouldn't. I wouldn't walk backwards doing that either.
Yeah, backwards is even harder. So when you walk back from the
If
pool
I'm
to your
going, I'm
car,
going to do that, Matt.
it's but yeah, you need to come over. You should come over and
I really
uh,
actually would maybe like to.
I think you should. But maybe later in the year outside of when you're really busy in your season. But
Send us a message. Send us a message if you're someone who's never surfed a wave pool. I've never surfed a wave pool. I'm kind of scared of it. I'm telling you, I'm kind of scared of it because, like,
it's a weird
what's the
feeling.
excuse? What's the excuse? You can otherwise you can say, I couldn't get one. I got one. I couldn't get one.
Yeah.
And you got one there, which is
Honestly,
somewhere by
it's the drive up is a 2 hour drive for me. And the drive I
bit
get like
nervy, isn't it?
I
Bit
get
nervy,
nervous. Like I start to worry about can I pop up
eh?
and stuff. And then you paddle out and have to say I surfed. We've only got a minute, but I surfed a 6-1 Morris Cole, and it's the best board I've ever surfed in the pool. It was amazing, but yeah,
Keep it on ice for me, and I'm going to look for some flights to Bristol. And as a special guest for the night, Marlo, just hello. That's Marlo, future Lou Surfu Bourdain surf member. Watch out in 10 years if you come to Hossegor, you're going to
River,
have trouble on your hands.
heavy local.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.